had that round trip transport a few months back. The hospital has
The Glenda.
asked, yes,
This
The
is the
hospital-
MOU for that situation.
for that type of situation.
Okay,
It only entails to Miles City or to Glendive. Nothing further.
would it
Trip to,
be a possibility for Billings?
This would have to be renegotiated on the back, the cost.
Do you see any chance of that happening?
Not really. And it hurt. Basically, it's for the nursing home residents,
Oh, okay.
that need a round trip for CT, further assessment, things like that. Basically because insurance does not pay for a round trip because they are not discharged from our facility and admitted into another
admitted.
one.
This covers items that community hospital does not handle.
Mhm. Yeah,
and that's why they would fund the transportation if we didn't provide the service here. You can transport them there. Is that
what this is like, say one of our nursing home residents falls, breaks their leg, arm, something, needs something, and they need to go to Glendive for CT or MRI. We don't offer that here. They can't sit safely, like the wheelchair van, they can't sit upright for the service. So, we would take them over, wait for the testing to be done, and then bring them back. Insurance does not pay that.
it'll pay the trip over.
No,
It won't pay any of it.
no. That is where we ended up with the hospital getting a $1,700 bill.
Correct. Yeah. So the most common instances I see with this happening with our long-term care residents are on, for example, the instances we've had in the past is a resident fell. They are on maybe an anticoagulant to a blood thinner. They hit their head. Normal protocol is they need to go out, have a CT of their head. We do not do that here. That needs to happen emergently because if they have hit their head, they are at risk for a brain bleed and that needs to be addressed appropriately. We cannot diagnose that in-house because we do not have that capacity. The quickest way for us to get them there is by ambulance. It does not necessarily mean, so ambulance would normally drop them off and then we had to figure out how to get them back. So those are instances that I know where we could have utilized ambulance waiting, them doing the scan emergently, being cleared by the doctor there, for them to come back to us.
Having an MOU, does that allow you to, get paid through insurance?
No,
No, so this is us.
That
This is the
is
hospital
between the
setting up an entity or an agreement, not an entity, excuse me, an agreement with the ambulance for those special circumstances. If a patient falls and breaks a leg, they need to leave our facility to have surgical repair. Ambulance would leave them there. But there are some instances where the patient cannot necessarily go in a wheelchair van or in a private vehicle. And an ambulance would need to take them, but they would come, but the plan is still for them to come back because we might not offer, most often it's a CT or an MRI truly, that we can't do here in-house. We're never getting a CT or MRI machine in Terry. It's not gonna happen.
So the trip is paid that way.
No, because
It's not paid either way.
no.
so if we're, say Megan is a little old lady in the nursing home.
So
She falls down, breaks her hip,
Yes,
but also hits her head, so she needs a CT right
if
now.
Andrea takes the patient up there and leaves them, that is billable.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
But
is
then-
paid
But
by
then
the
but
insurance.
then we, as the hospital, are struggling to figure out how to get them back from that other hospital, because that other hospital does not care about how our long-term care residents get back to us.
my question
Yes.
was answered.
Oh,
You're paying that way. That patient is being paid to get to Glendive for those services.
If we
Leave them
take them and leave them there,
and
Leave
we're
them.
clear
And
and
drive
we
away.
come back to Terry
Okay,
without that patient.
but
But if
wait a
you
minute,
wait,
wait a minute. when you get them there, go around the block, go get a Dairy Queen, go down to filling station and take a leak. I don't care. Nobody knows that you picked that patient up, brought him back.
They
You've
have,
got a backhaul with nobody on it. Why don't you backhaul that patient?
okay, Dennis, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. We take on a liability when we bring that patient back then. If we're not reporting that and something happens,
Somebody runs into you.
who's at fault? Who's getting their ass in a sling?
That'd be you.
Yeah, no, not happening.
Chicken.
There's very few
Yeah.
instances where I think we would need to utilize this. To be honest with you, we have figured there was the reason it came into play. It was a number of years ago prior to me. I was DON, but I was, Andrea was, I don't know if you were with the service, and so, our CFO at the time said, we're not doing that anymore. The hospital is not gonna pay the full cost of taking them out there and bringing them back. So the ambulance is instructed to take them up there. We'll figure out how to get them back. Sometimes we cannot figure out how to get them back without working with them, but it is considered an inter-facility transport and not billable to their insurance company. The hospital wants to pay that cost and help cover the cost of it. We just can't, but we're asking for an MOU because there is,
You gotta have paperwork to back the.
So if you're bringing it back, you don't even get paid going over then.
You don't
No.
get paid.
Round trip.
she can't bill.
It's an in-house deal.
She bills off. She can't bill their insurance.
Yeah.
Cause that would be fraud.
Yeah,
So,
so.
It's the
what we're-
insurance company's way of getting out of paying that bill.
Well, basically a person cannot be admitted in two places at the same time.
correct.
And you can't give them a temporary dismissal and.
So,
And.
so like our long, so our long, because this is we're talking our long-term care patients, and our long-term care patients usually are there for years. And so we do periodically discharge them and readmit them. The problem every time you discharge and readmit them is we're humans, errors happen, you may miss something, the documentation then lives in another part of the chart. And these are special circumstances. This is not our ideal preferred method.
Yeah.
I mean, our ideal preferred method is Andrea, if they need to go up there, she leaves them, comes back, so we get her back in service. But there may be instances where we may have to utilize this.
So what are you proposing or what are you suggesting we do?
So we have this agreement
Yes,
where we supply the ambulance and some of the personnel. The
We-
hospital then supplies some of the personnel,
So
and we come up with a rate that is acceptable. Because $1,700 for a round trip
Is not acceptable.
is pretty hard to swallow.
yeah. So, I mean, and it's like I said,
Would
we would provide a staff member to Andrea, so then Andrea doesn't have to utilize her full crew, which leaves then more EMTs in the county.
so you'd have, like you on the trip, one of your people and then a driver. You'd have probably
Correct.
three people. Is that? Okay.
And it would be specific to level of care, like if that person needs pain medication throughout the trip, then a nurse would have to go. She would have to send an RN with.
It
us.
really is special circumstances that
Sure.
happen not frequently, but we'd like to have something in place. Because remember a few months ago, I
Yep.
came and threw myself at
Yeah.
the altar of you guys and
That's what we're
asked
trying
for a
to.
discount.
What are you proposing then for numbers?
I'm thinking, I would say $400 to $500 is fair at our cost.
We're trying to cover
Cost
the
of fuel.
Well, you're
biggest-
looking at 90 miles.
That's for the first 4 hours.
Yes. And if it takes longer than 4 hours, then we'll have to,
additional fee, yeah.
Yeah.
And also we're amendable to like if,
Yeah.
I don't know why it would take more than 4 hours, but if there's a delay, the thing is we're reasonable. Andrea can call us, call myself, can call Caitlin, who's our DON and say, hey, we got to get back. And we will figure it out. It's just not, in those circumstances, it would be nice to have this as an option.
Yeah.
Because the last time it happened was Mother's Day.
Yeah.
On a Sunday. I was in Sydney, and so this was the option we had.
Excuse me.
So It's not our first option.
What do you pay your people?
For the interfacility transports, it would be more because you're patient both directions.
Hey,
So it would be $75 per call
for one person.
per person.
And the hospital then, we're paying, if I'm sending a senior, if I'm sending a nurse, we're paying their salary, so there's no expense to the
That,
hospital.
that side of it.
Yeah, there's no.
So in
expense.
almost all cases, you figure this could be 4 hours or less on round trip. Is that what you're talking, because
Yeah.
how long does it take for them to scan them
30 minutes maybe
If that.
to scan.
okay. And if there's something severe, then they stay
Then they
there,
stay.
Yes, and then it.
goes
This
through
is,
insurance,
Correct.
yep, then it
And then
goes
it's
to
null and
insurance.
void, yeah.
okay.
We just
So how
have
about
one.
400 and 100?
That works for us.
400 and
Does
100.
that work for you?
Yeah, look at the blanks.
On the fees
Oh, I see.
right there.
And this only pertains to,
Round trip Miles City to Glendive, and I do
That's it,
have
yeah.
that's limited to Miles
Mhm.
City or Glendive.
and it only pertains to patients that are actively admitted to the hospital. So that does not pertain to like ER patients. It would pertain to mostly our long-term care patients, because that is our biggest patient population. We are now admitting a level of patient called intermediate swing bed, which is a step above our long-term care patients. That actually you probably would bill us because we would bundle that in there.
Yep,
Yeah.
that would be bundled.
So it's our long-term care patients we're talking about, our elderly 89-year-old residents of the community.
96-year-old
Yes, our 96-year-olds of the community, so.
Well,
fell and broke her leg.
Is that enough?
what do you think?
So I think this is a good idea because I don't want to have, when we have to put this into place, I want it to be very clear, the expectations. That was some of Andrea's frustration that day that it happened, is there wasn't clear expectations because we hadn't done this and it was outside of our normal protocol. And then, yeah, it didn't feel great having to have, a conversation about the cost with Andrea, because I really value the ambulance service at the hospital, I am,
Yes.
You're saying 400 for the fee and $100 for the hour?
we
Yeah,
want to make
that
sure that
won't-
the
that
ambulance
won't
feels that
pencil,
the
that
cost
won't
is
pencil.
covered. So I mean, pencil it out. We want to feel that the cost is covered, they
Well,
just.
360 for 3 hours, so if you make that 500 on the top end and
That's fine,
120 on the bottom,
Can you live with that? Would that help you?
yes,
It's not an everyday occurrence, but
Correct.
once in a while.
yes.
And I remember, and you went here before,
Now, is part of that gonna come out of the ambulance fund and part of it from the hospital, or how you pay that?
So
they'll pay
No.
this.
They'll
So
just
this
pay
is
it.
what the hospitals
They'll
would
just-
This
would
will
pay.
bill the hospital.
This-
Because we can't pass this bill on to the patient,
No,
and
But-
this is the bill to the hospital.
gotcha.
Beyond the $500, if there is something more, then Andrea's gonna pay for it. That's how this is gonna work. She blows out a tire. Anything happens.
I mean, we're open to a conversation, but yes, I mean, we can't go, Andrea blows tires left and right, so, but.
Yeah, she blew a tire here.
30-day notice.
What?
yeah,
30-day notice, I think that'd be
Yeah.
fine.
That's fine. I mean,
I think
500 feels
that's a-
very fair. Whatever you guys feel fair, we're open to having the conversation. That we're glad that you're willing to have the conversation with us.
I think this is a starting point, and as you walk through this, then did it work or not work?
Yeah,
And
absolutely. Well, not the thing is too, I mean, Andrea and I have great access to each other to have these conversations. When she brought it to me, we had a conversation with our CFO about it. She had no concerns necessarily with the proposed costs at that point, but we want to make sure that you guys feel that the ambulance direct costs are covered. And that, and the hospital will pay it. I mean, again, the hospital would be paying for the employees' time going, so that's not a cost to you guys. We want to continue the partnership that we've worked really hard the last few years to develop.
You know, the guy walked down the street, that ambulances are very important. Like you put that same guy in the back of that ambulance and his life depends upon it. The big deal.
Yeah, the ambulance is incredibly important to this community.
Sure.
I remember when it was at threat a number of years ago, so we don't want to get to that point. We really like when they page out and it's responded to immediately by EMTs.
We need to
So,
find a way with
yeah.
this, and I think if that could be our starting point.
yeah,
And then just, if it works, it works.
Yeah. so, yeah, we had no concerns when Andrea drafted it and brought it to us, so.
And it only took a few months.
It's not like you have not been busy trying to manage a service.
If you'd have gotten through to Ellen, anything, I'd have brought you a cake and a file.
Who's throwing her in jail? So you throwing her in jail?
Because I'm telling her to cheat on this thing and she won't, because she's
Well,
trying to
that's
get
the
through
thing,
to
well,
jail.
but that's the thing too, is, we wanna make sure that it's done appropriately. And it's not appropriate for her to bill the ambulance,
Yeah.
or the patient's insurance. For transport up there and then bill a separate claim for transport back. So. And so, yeah. And then again, we can update and make changes to this based off as we go through it again. I don't anticipate us utilizing this, but there are some times where this is the only way to get the patient there. Or,
It wouldn't hurt to bring it up once a year and you still doing okay with it.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
still working.
Well, you two will assess it.
Yeah,
you know.
or we never utilize it, I mean, that's,
Better to have it not use it than.
a
use it
100%, yeah.
now.
Well, and that's what happened is we never had something in place because just don't do that. Well, that's,
And
that's,
there's
that's,
times where it
there's,
has to be
yeah. Yeah. I remember one time one of our residents had to sit up in Holy Rosary for a few hours so we could find somebody to go get them. So, and then they're by themselves and they're elderly because a lot of them don't necessarily have family that live in the community or immediately available to be there with them,
I wouldn't know how that felt, I'm elderly.
You're a young elderly, Dennis. You're not old in the eyes of this community.
What did you tell me last night? He was pretty rough on me.
Some about looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
So we're done here. We just know the 500, 120, and 30 is the numbers you needed. And we can just.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
what we
starting
needed.
point. Do you want a motion on that?
Please.
I'd make a motion
There's a motion to
to accept the MOU.
ask the $500 for the first 4 hours to cover costs and $120 past that and 30 days notice to get out of the agreement. Seeing no discussion, all in favor, say aye.
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 All right.
Aaron,
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
what'd you need?
Would you like
Is your-
that?
Is yours blank?
No,
Did you write on
Yeah,
it?
you seem
I
to
didn't
bring the
write
money
it.
out of it.
Well-
We're done.
I'll retype it and then, well,
you need a
Yeah.
Didn't
signature
have to
on it.
retype it.
huh?
She has a,
I
has
had,
a,
yeah, I added in supplies there that I didn't add in all of them,
Okay.
so I can retype it
I
and,
appreciate
Get
that. That helps me.
signatures on
We're
it.
not multitaskers.
okay? We're done.
Thank you.
We'll get out of here. Good to see you, as always.
it's not like you guys have had a busy day.
Fun and games.
Just the tip of the iceberg. Gonna get a lot of fun. Not today, but down the road.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
You guys coming in?
I guess I wanted to bring up this last meeting. I'm very disappointed with how the agenda had been written for that. And maybe there was no other way to do it, but going further into the future. Nextera is on the agenda. And then at the same time, we had business for the land planning board. I don't know if it was correct in the agenda where you guys could have made decisions on what the land planning board had given you anyway. But I would like to see Nextera separate from all of our other business. So Nextera was on the agenda for 2:00. Then land planning board on the agenda at 2:30 or 3:00 or something like that. That way, Nextera's go sit in the back of the room. This is up for discussion with the commissioners and land planning board.
That was the way it was supposed to be.
Well, and it gets out of hand. Ross talks and then someone else, one of his coworkers stands up and talks and And it gets really drug out. And it doesn't give our land planning board time to discuss with commissioners and make decisions if possible. Or if need be. I guess that's my concern.
That's easy to fix.
And I'm not the only one that has said this.
Oh, I'm,
Whatever.
Just something to moving forward in the future.
I tried to transfer the meeting over to Lonnie halfway through because it was planning board time.
Yeah. But by then, Nextera started talking again
Well,
and it's tough.
some of the questions that were Lonnie asked for people
Yeah.
from the deal, they wanted the answer from Nextera, not Lonnie.
Yeah.
Lonnie didn't have the answer.
Well, and I
And
understand that.
Nextera probably didn't have it either,
Oh,
in
sure.
most cases.
But I don't know if the land planning board was looking for a decision out of the commissioners, but a lot of other people were waiting to hear it.
Oh, we have to put it on the agenda.
Yeah, we can't make an.
Well, I didn't know if
No.
the way it was worded, if it could or
In all
not.
actuality.
We had heard vibes of what they were gonna recommend to the commissioners, but we didn't really know.
Yeah.
Do we have it in writing, what they want us to do?
There is a motion. And it's,
But
Lonnie's got it. There's three
Lonnie's
motions.
got
Lonnie
it.
has a copy,
Yeah.
that wrote them out.
is he
He
gonna
wrote.
give us a written ask?
I would assume that as soon as he gets
He'll-
those wrote up, or maybe if
probably-
you want a copy, he's got.
That guy's probably typing tonight.
Anyway, that was my only ask.
Go ahead.
Monday, there was a state land board meeting,
Yeah. Knutson was there.
and I found out about it from Senator Phelan. But the DNRC asked the land board for essentially
Yeah.
approval
Yeah.
of the 3-county project
The new one?
For the state land, yeah,
for the
involved.
state land.
And
Not
they
not for
never even-
EQ, but state lands in Prairie County,
Okay.
which there's gonna be a significant amount because of Sur land, Sur Trust and going on there, and then into Dawson and Macomb. Macomb and Dawson submitted letters at Nextera's request, I believe, to the DNRC, and I have copies of them. Go to Senator Phelan on their opinion of Nextera, what's going on. Macomb said essentially that Nextera came, answered their questions, and Dawson County said that Nextera opened up an office, and they pretty much didn't say anything else. But Prairie County, did you guys get an ask?
No.
There, DNRC?
No
No.
idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, so then.
They wanted support letter going to the land board.
So my public comment would be is DNRC doesn't do a very good job, I don't think, of noticing the state land board members, because Attorney General Knudsen didn't know what was going on until he walked into the room. And there wasn't any other supporting data. It was one vote and done. And so I would like to see Prairie County with all the testimony you've heard over the last, well, since October 30th. If you can coin a letter and would send it, and or get on the agenda or be in the public comment to express the concerns brought forth by people since October 30th. Specifically Greg Berger in the beginning and the concerns over that.
What board was that, Shane?
The land board, state land.
Land planning or the
State land,
State
board,
land
state
board.
land board.
secretary of state, governor, lieutenant governor.
School lady.
auditor, School. officer.
All the elected officials plus the,
And the meetings are noticed, but nobody has time to check every notice meeting of a state board or run, in every county and.
Well, Shane,
where do they have them? Helen eyes.
you probably realize or see what I see. We have state land. And there's a lot of autonomy. If these guys at Miles City, they can make decisions. You almost want to make it Helen, but they make them local. So I was surprised I didn't got cooped up to the land. For Helen.
Well, I don't know the details. I haven't had time to look into what was offered, if there was anything offered, but I'd like to see Prairie County be in on the meeting when it comes again and either offer a letter if you have time to offer it, or at least be on Zoom or offer comment, because I think you can,
Yeah,
and express what's been brought up at the public meetings. Harry's got it in the minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we can take that from the minutes at the senior
You
center.
could send on the letter that Greg Berger gave you on the 30th. That's testimony. But I don't think Prairie County should be
Left out.
left out or,
we should,
not.
particularly when we have more windmills proposed than anybody else.
Right, and I don't know if it's, the letter's written, I think by McCollum, November 12th. So I don't know that Prairie County might have been intentionally left off the ask.
Do you have the letters?
I have them on my phone.
We have agenda items at 4:30.
Yeah,
It's not.
Anyway, thank you.
One quick comment is I would like to request you to ask Mako if they are exclusively funded by counties, or is there other organizations that might be funding Mako's funding?
Oh, yeah, Great West.
There is a lot of other
We
funding,
have sponsors, yeah.
so they get a lot of sponsors, could be energy companies.
Scott, yeah.
Could be.
Okay, thank you.
Yahoo one and Yahoo.
thanks, Aaron.
See you guys. Thank you.
Hi, thanks, Sarah.
Okay, so Brittany is here from Action for Eastern Montana.
Hi, Brittany.
She didn't want to get wrapped up in that mess, I'm sure. So Brittany and
Also from Cindy Larson, and she's our new CEO for Action for Eastern Montana.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, Devlin.
Hi, Tom.
Nice.
It's nice to see you again. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Christine Keltner.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Go ahead and sit down.
You're the new CEO?
I am.
Yeah.
All right.
Place you take.
Clint Wynn.
So that we make sure, because we really have to understand these matches, stay out there with the.
And you know, we don't explain it very good what we heard, don't
You
you?
can
So-
stand in this circus right in the
No.
corner.
Oh, I need to be out there at that
Yeah.
circus, 'cause I'm not as nice as
Would you like a squirrel to go with you?
No, you got, they're right here sitting up.
That is a very good assessment of yours.
Yeah, yeah. So I need, we need to, you guys need to understand the
cop.
matches,
Cop,
but
that
you
cop.
also need to know.
You are the
that
good cop.
I am a good
who
guy.
those matches go to, so those are your big questions that you need to understand.
Hopefully.
Because
they're
if they
not
go to
paper.
Tylene, they should be coming out of her budget, and if they go to, oh my God,
Senior-
Karen,
Yeah.
senior center, it should be out of her budget, and I don't think we've been doing that.
I think it's been done wrong for a long time, but
We don't think the
I think that the
money is
money,
budget.
I think the money for the senior companion program is being deposited into public health. And then the expense for the county is being paid out of seniors.
The match.
The the
Yeah.
match. Okay.
The senior, yeah,
That would be the money for Amelia.
No,
isn't, I think Rita, or,
Read a plan.
yeah, Rita Plan is the senior companion person, I believe. But your guys' questions were about the actual contract itself, weren't they?
I believe so.
I think what we were looking for was what was the person, what number is the match off of?
So,
What number are you using?
um,
Because
Do you have
Is that
paperwork
what
we
we
can look
had?
at?
we had that.
so I printed this
Cut off.
off when I came.
Can I make copies of that?
Sure, sorry, I wrote on it. Sorry.
We'll disregard what you wrote.
I don't.
What we had was 3 or 4 pages, and
Yeah, so it was the contract and then the very last page.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's what we had.
Budget.
And we weren't sure about the match and our liabilities.
Okay, so I'll try to Alright, do you have?
I left it with these guys, so we gotta figure out
What these guys did.
where they put.
It might be in your stuff, I'm not sure.
We usually call,
Perfect.
Got it.
You guys found it? Okay. I should know better than to leave anything down here.
we are multi-task.
Same.
Called the administrative assistant, not the multitasker.
You sure?
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you.
I'm just here to listen. Christine took your paper.
Well, she's making copies, which is fine, because I think, oh, it's the same, okay. Except mine didn't have this, but okay.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, there's two. So here's two. One signed will come back to me, and then one Araya will keep on file for you guys. Here, you can use that. 'Cause I'll just-
I'd take one of those. What didn't we understand on that?
Yeah, we didn't understand where the match.
Which match? Is it the admin match or is it the county, the 15%?
1628.
Okay.
Administrative cap.
So the way that the admin match works is they come up with the admin budget every year. And then we have to come up, the counties have to contribute a certain percentage. And that meant we had to, the counties had to contribute, all the counties, not just one county, $75,000. We take that $75,000 and then it is put through a funding formula based upon population. And that is how the 1628 came up. Yeah, 1628 is based off of the population of Prairie.
So where's the
Where's the
75, where's the $75,000 figure that you?
That it doesn't come to you guys. That's just an in-house budget.
Oh, well, that's why I couldn't figure out where the match come from. I was trying to figure out it had to be a match because it says administrative cash match and I was looking for what it was matching. I never could find the figure.
Yep. So what we do, all of
Where's
them,
the 16 whatever?
on mine, it doesn't show it, and the contract one it does. Do you want to hold this one?
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I couldn't find it either, so.
Yeah, that's not on
I
those.
must be missing.
Sorry. I tried to pull this really
Everyone's talking
quick.
like they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I tried to pull it really quick.
16 even.
There's 16,000.
So there's $75,000 in action administrative costs.
Yes.
That
And
is-
that
is
is
that
split
what-
up between all 17 counties and Fort Peck tribes. And then each county's contribution is based on their population.
She doesn't
But
have.
we
it
don't
either.
come up with the full 75,000.
No,
There's no
no.
16.
Your
What's the
contribution
percentage,
is
you
the
know?
1,628.
But what's the percentage?
Where they that number?
Where are you coming up with the 1628? There's
So
no figure like that on
when-
there.
So my admin budget. So the,
Oh, that,
yeah.
oh, 16, we're looking for 16,000.
Oh, no.
That's why. You see it right there?
Yeah,
It's been a
All
long.
right.
It's okay. I get
Is
it.
that good news?
I don't know.
So the admin budget that sits where I'm located is a $300,000 budget for admin. There was,
Administration,
Yeah.
get rid of the acronyms.
sorry,
Thank you.
$300,000 budget for the administration for Action for Eastern Montana when it comes to the Older American Act money. Of that 300,000, the counties had to contribute $75,000.
So 25%.
Yes, the 25%
And
admin.
that's what our part of it is, the $1,628 based on population.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's our share of the 25% match.
Yes, sir. And then when it comes to your actual budget, are you okay if I start breaking it down even more or no?
I'll let you know when you do
Okay,
it.
okay. So when it comes to down here for this 15% and 25% match, here, you can borrow mine.
I have it. I just didn't know if you
Yeah.
were the right
So when
numbers.
it comes
15
to like
And 25 down
homemaker,
here.
this right here, this right here, and this right here, and this right here.
These numbers.
That amount is what the program, the Older American Act law dictates that you guys have to hopefully collect in order for you to contribute back into your own program. So you guys will never send us that money. You collect it in hopes, the purpose of it is that the counties will collect it, say,
From,
when Araya and I are retired and we go to a congregate meal and we pay that congregate meal price.
We pay $3 or whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is, that $3 is rolled right back into your program.
that's what this money is?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So you never have to send that to us. In the history of History Dome, the federal government's never asked for it. But that is the purpose of that match. It's to ensure that your community is trying to help sustain this program.
Trying to pay their own way.
Yes.
partially.
Yes.
Well, the federal government's all about sustainability, so if they disappeared tomorrow, how are you gonna pay for it? We're not, but.
And we have, yeah.
Who cares?
We also have, we have those new rules
Just
that we
have
had to
another
implement
election.
with the new reread of the Older American Act, where they had to do the actual cost of the meal. But we were very stressful on the fact that that does not change your status quo. If you can only afford a quarter, I only want you paying a quarter. I don't want you not coming to eat because the cost of the meal actually is $15 and you obviously can't afford $15. It's just what I'm interpreting the federal government to do, and what I've spoken with a couple of the representatives on the federal level about this at a couple of our conferences. It is their attempt, because since the 70s, nothing has changed. So the federal government thinks that we're running these programs off of $3, $5. We have to prove to the federal government why we need more money. Because to them, if you've been running it off of $5 this whole time, why do you need more money? If that makes any sense. So one way that we're doing that is now we're recording more data to send back to them that really, like Roosevelt County, for example, their meal is $20. The actual cost to make their meal is $20.
I assume all the overheads in there, the cost of the.
Yes, you have to break it down, like, they wanted a breakdown of wages and fringe. They wanted to know how much light you were using, electricity. They wanted the breakdown of how much gas you were using on top of cost of food. So they wanted a breakdown of the actual.
They wanted
And
items.
in today's market with inflation, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure you're right
Yeah.
on target with that.
Yeah.
So in a roundabout way, and I understand it makes, nobody likes change. And that's one of the hardest things that I've come across is nobody wants change. And the people of Montana are very prideful, very, very prideful. And they don't want to be made to feel like they can't afford $25. So that's kind of what I've been navigating with them for like the past 7 months, that it's like, don't even look at the sign. The sign just has to be there.
We don't care what.
I don't care what you can pay. We just literally had to change the sign. And so far, we've been okay. There's been a couple of ones where it's been a little bit harder for them to understand that only.
It says I'm gonna pay
Yes,
$20.
and
It
you're
says I
not.
need $20, I'm gonna pay
The
it.
cost of the meal is.
You know, it's nice for you to explain that, and I'll tell you why, because we haven't in a long time, gone to congregate meals. And when you stand in line and you watch people and they're,
And the money bucket, yeah. So
that's
that's
important for them to do that. They
Mm-hmm.
want to do that. And now we know where that money
Yep.
is at. It's what we've collected.
Well, and there's also data to show how it helps people
Yep.
that are older to get together.
Yeah.
You know, that might be the only time,
Socialization.
yep, they might be
It
the
is
only
so
time they
important.
socialize.
I've had a couple people, not really a couple, more like one, say, I don't understand. All they do is talk. And I was like, but that's the whole purpose. That is the whole purpose, because one of the hardest things that we deal with, especially in Montana, because we're so rural and it's dark 9 months out of the year, is the socialization. We don't want anybody to be isolated. That's why ultimately there's stricter guidelines for home delivered versus the congregate meal. Because ultimately, unless you literally can't, we don't want you to get a home delivered meal. We want you to get out of your home and visit with your friends and come have a nice hot meal.
When I've been there, when I see it, I see communications, older people, my age, are communicating, talking,
Mhm.
laughing, giggling.
Yeah.
And you see 2 tables of ladies walk up front and they start playing cards and they start talking about grandkids. They
Mhm.
start talking about the event next week. And you see the guys go play pool and rank on each other a little bit because they need to do that.
Yeah.
They need to be engaged. and
I've come
active.
to 2 or 3 congregate meals here, and one of them, I didn't force them, but I gently did. to sign up for the eyeglass program so they could get new glasses if they needed glasses. I've always had great meals here and I've always enjoyed it. I love watching them play cards because they get so aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. I was-
Take it personal, don't they?
Yeah, well, in my family, it's Monopoly. Like my family,
Here it's whist.
you'll get your
or
feeling
bridge.
hurt real quick playing Monopoly with my family. So like, we only do it once a year because that's all my feelings can take.
You know what? My mother lived to be almost 91, and for her 90th birthday, one of the grandchildren had asked her, Grandma, what's the secret to living a long life? And she said, if you don't want to stop moving, don't stop moving. And what you're suggesting is just that people come,
Yes.
physically go, and those are important.
Yeah, it's not just about the food. That's just a small part of it.
Mhm.
My father worked till he was 94, because what he saw in his life, all his friends in the oil field, when they retired, they went
died.
home, and 2 or 3 years later, they all died because they sat and watched TV and didn't do anything. He didn't want to do that. So all those things have merit.
Yeah.
That's the one we go to that.
Well, it makes sense today, whether it'll make sense next week or
Yeah,
not.
I can send a follow-up email of what we talked about, so you'll have.
Don't
a
be shaking
paper
fingers
copy
at
of-
me.
So if you had to refer back, like, oh crap, what'd she say? I can do that as well.
We will. We're at that age where what did I remember that room for?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they also don't pay attention very well, I'm not gonna lie.
I did that today. I like got in the car to warm it up to come
Wish you
here.
could talk about us like
I
that.
pulled.
in front of us.
Cause I know you guys.
Yeah, so like I pulled it up to the front
There
of the
are
building
3
to warm up,
squirrels in
and then I
the
turned
room.
it on. I got out of the truck and I
2
was
on
like,
that table and 1 up
what
there.
are we doing?
Oh,
Which
Cherry bottom floor.
she doesn't
There's a little
realize
squirrel.
is how
I'm
sensitive
away.
we are.
Yeah, they're very sensitive.
If you're gonna be in
Mariah and I-
public office, sensitive is a
Yeah.
good trait to have.
We go way back.
I got one over
Right.
there to
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah, we worked
Yeah.
at the clinic together.
Yeah.
Got one there to sign, don't I?
So this one, you guys will sign it, but this one is gonna be yours to keep, and then I'll just take this guy home.
Sign it and give it to Araya.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, I know the procedure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whether I
What
get
is
it
it that you're
done or.
signing? Like,
So this is
That makes
the FY 2025 Area Agency on Aging contract with Prairie County, and this is for all of the older American Health services that you guys provide. Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming.
Of course. It's
We really had a busy
my
day.
pleasure.
well, since I didn't cover any of that.
I was gonna
I'll just
say,
take it from him.
yeah, just grab it from Todd and then I'll grab it. from
Yeah,
you.
it's all on the top.
It's my pleasure. There's been quite a few changes in the last 3 weeks. And I'm more than happy to come out anytime you guys need me to.
Thank you.
Yeah, they ask me the questions and I'm like, I don't know, talk to Brittany. That's what she's there for.
I know, and sometimes I'll be like, let me look into this and I'll call you
Yeah.
right back.
Yeah.
Cause she texted me about,
Now, what Sherry wanted us to ask her, where it comes, where do we?
Well,
take
I
it
don't
out?
think that these guys would know that, because Sherry's question is about the money that we send you guys for the senior companion program.
so the senior, okay, that's a separate, that's. I can.
You
do
need
that.
an expenditure?
Nope,
Do I need one to
no,
follow?
cause I'm gonna go off of the letter, basically.
Oh, okay.
So the senior companion program is a separate funding source from the Older American Act. So it's a completely different grant system. It also has admin costs. To be honest, I will have to dive into what that budget looked like. I can only take so many bites out of an apple at a time, kind of a thing. I do know that the senior companion admin match is based off of hours served in your county. So if you have a senior companion, so the admin matches are based off of hours served versus population.
Well, and with this one here, the senior companion program, the way that it's been explained to me is we pay, or well, we don't. Action pays Rita Plan to socialize with seniors and then also take them to like appointments and stuff
Yeah.
sometimes.
He's a rock star when it comes to the
Yeah.
transportation.
And so Action is paying that, and then we, like, the $3,000 is us paying them back for our portion of like what they're paying Rita, what they are
So,
paid in
yeah,
their
So
office.
the admin match, yes.
Yeah,
So Rita Plan gets a stipend, so that will not affect her social security or any of her benefits. It's only a stipend amount, and then she's also reimbursed for her meals and her mileage at the federal rate, which is 67 cents every month. So the $3,000 is your contribution for us to manage that grant. You guys will never pay out of pocket paying Rita. That grant covers all of her stipend wages, and they also earn vacation, I believe at the federal rate, and the grant will cover all of her vacation time as well.
I don't have much going.
The admin match contribution basically is to cover our hours and our management of that grant, because the senior companion grant is a beast, because in AmeriCorps, there's so much reporting and there is so much data collection that has to be done in certain intervals.
It's one of the census reports.
Yes, so I just turned in one today, and then I already have another one due on December 2nd. So that is what your admin match contribution.
Quarterly and end of year.
There's 3 reports that we have to do for senior companion, and then after the 3, there's one big annual one at the end of the year.
I know.
I had a crash course yesterday, the senior companion program. So,
At least some was stuck, huh?
yeah, a little bit, some of it. I took a lot of notes.
I knew she had to come tell us.
well, you can't find a better brain than Brittany's, honestly.
So,
He's amazing.
Well, next time one of these comes across the desk, we know who to call.
yeah,
Yeah, I choose my friends wisely.
that's true.
Appreciate
that.
So I have a question then about this. For the senior companion program, is there any actual money coming into the county from the program, or is it all handled in the background?
It's all handled in the background.
Okay, so there's no, because Sherry's qualms about the senior companion program was we were under the understanding that there was funding coming in from Action that was being deposited into, okay.
All of the checks that you're receiving from Aging Services or Action for Eastern Montana are for these
For
services.
those services, okay, okay.
And you guys, you do have respite, so it'll all be on one check now because we don't have ARPA anymore.
Okay.
But, so every dollar that you're getting from Action is for the Older American Act.
Okay,
Everything for senior companion is done on our end,
On your end.
minus the admin.
okay, because Sherry had a problem that we were paying this out of the senior center funding, and she was under the impression that any funding coming in was going into
The wrong
public
account.
health account, and then the money. So Sherry shouldn't have a problem when we explain that.
Was
part.
she also questioning where they should go with this?
Yes.
Because the respite, is under, caregiver INA now. So that might go under public health, because that is like the foot clinic and stuff.
I don't believe she has a question about that part, because when we get the checks, it specifically tells us which fund to place the money into.
Okay.
Or it has in the past. I mean, if you guys are gonna change that, then we'll have.
I don't
questions.
have any,
Okay.
I don't have.
Okay, yeah, so then we should be fine.
You'll know when you get the
Yeah.
first check.
So,
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yes, sir.
so where is this funded at? Because it's a letter from Prairie County Commissioners for that amount and check to you.
well, we've been paying it out of the senior center funding as long as I've been here. So that money is paid out of the senior center, and the check is written to Action for Eastern Montana for them to take care of the grant,
To cover the match.
to cover
So
the
this is our
administrative costs, yeah.
match
Yes,
Our portion of the
for
administrative.
only.
for the senior
Yes.
companion program.
Yes,
That's, and this is a separate deal.
This is separate from the Older American.
Anything else that goes on there, like vacation pay, that's,
No, you guys are not responsible
we don't
for
see
that. The
any.
grant covers
It
it.
just covers your.
Yep.
And what percent is that of it? Is it-
I do not know, but I can go back and find out. And I can send Araya an email.
This is the one that Brittany said is based off of the hours that
That
are
Amelia
served in our, yeah, not Amelia, but
And
like
Or
Rita.
Rita.
Yeah,
Frida.
yeah. So that would be, it just depends on how many hours Rita works. for this
So I can
program.
I can figure that out. I just, hadn't had a second to really delve into that one too much. But, I'm more than happy to figure out the percentage or the funding formula based off of hours, and I'll send Ryan an email.
It would help us understand it better. That's the only reason I'm asking.
I do know it, hers is based off of hours versus the census data, but Older American Act is strictly census data.
Sure, okay.
Do you make a claim for that or do?
Yeah, I'll make a claim for this one and for that one.
Construction cost.
Cause both of those are checks that we actually send you guys, right?
Yes.
Okay, yep.
1,600.
The 1,600 for the Older Americans Act, and then this one for the senior companion,
Oh,
3,000.
Good.
good.
We were in your town last night and they were white.
Yeah.
I, were
Was
you
slick
at
when
the?
I went home last night.
They
How
were-
did you, how was it?
They went, I didn't
Oh.
know about it until on my way home.
The commissioner meeting for the wind
Oh.
project?
Oh, yeah, that's what we had right before.
Fun meetings, really fun meetings.
Joe tried to
I've
talk
heard
us
that
into
they're not
going
very
and I was
fun.
like,
Yeah, Joe,
start a fire and sit in my recliner. I think I'm gonna sit. in my
We don't
recliner."
drive miles to Kenmore.
It started fire.
Miles.
yeah, Joe
Started-
tried to get us.
Started my coat on fire.
He's gonna burn the windmill towers.
No, I mean in my fireplace. I was
Oh,
going
I like
home
the
to be
idea of
cozy.
fire in the
Yeah,
windmill.
you were leaving the
You're
fire.
being recorded. I want you to know.
I'm always being recorded.
Do not take it out
Everybody
of
isn't like
context.
you.
Christine's
Not
gonna get you in
everybody
trouble.
likes that, does it?
Okay.
Well, thank you.
You're good.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Appreciate
If you guys have any other questions, let
Not
me know.
until you leave.
I know, and Ryan has my cell phone. Yes, she can send me a text. Yes. So,
She must be driving then.
she'll
No,
answer my, she'll answer.
I'll answer. I'm on cold medicine. I'm not driving.
Yeah, if you guys have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
No worries.
You're welcome.
Clarified things.
it's nice meeting you.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
nice seeing you again.
I know, it's nice seeing you all again. It's been a hot minute.
You keep that.
Do you have anything else for us?
I
Okay,
don't think so.
I hope you guys have a,
Something about wind farms.
I don't know anything about wind farms, but I hope you guys have a very happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, you too.
Eat all the turkey.
Well, be careful. It's dark out there. There's animals on the road.
Yeah, I know the deer.
I didn't hit one till I turned 51.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, and technically it hit me.
When did you get your driver's license?
Yeah.
Your 50?
That's a good question, but no. Over by Frosty's, there's always a lot of deer there and
Oh,
one
They
kid
yeah.
running and ran into the
They
side of my truck.
crossing down to go to the river to get a drink.
Yeah, people don't believe that. I had one running inside of me too.
They need to put some lights there.
Thanks for coming.
You bet, thank you.
Thank you.
No, don't go nowhere. There's people waiting to come talk to you.
Always tried to garner attention about 5 different times.
Hi, Juan.
What do you think?
I don't have your job.
Well, I'll tell you what, over 90%, Ross told me that over 90% of the private landowners up there have signed in that area. Have signed.
Yeah.
90% of 150?
I
don't think so.
Landowners.
Well,
Well, I guess if 90% of the, but they don't tell us how big the project's gonna be. They keep moving them.
They keep moving the
well, they
boundary.
tell you that number of cowards, but you don't, yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't, God damn, I'm gonna have to take care of myself. I gotta see how this scam ends. I just gotta, just gotta.
You can't quit now, can you?
I just gotta. Isn't it intriguing? though?
So do you think that there is, personally, do you think there's these guys are grandfathered in or not? Because construction hasn't started.
I'd
You know,
like to see a
I
contract.
guess you have to see contract.
I would like to see a contract.
But how does it affect our zoning? If we do all this zoning crap,
If
and
they're
they're
grandfathered in, it's not gonna affect them at one iota.
yeah, and then,
They're doing the work for naught.
and, now the people that haven't signed,
Now, they would be affected.
yeah, and what about the government?
Feds don't have to unless they want to. They can, if it's following federal law, that district area can follow your zoning.
Uh-huh. We have such a
Copy of
good
Word,
relationship.
yeah.
Like magic, like magic.
Well, so I have, made some no-name inquiries telling a few people that you guys ought to get together where all this BLM land is and hire yourself an attorney and throw $10,000 in a pot. You know, and tell them when this NEPA document is being worked on for the BLM application, you just walk in there and do a Western watersheds and this thing is like history.
Yeah.
So, but
That'd be
it's
truly-
very telling. You know, when the white man came to this country, the Indians all hated each other and they didn't realize that the white man was probably the enemy. So they were willing to make all kinds of deals with the white man to screw the tribe next door.
Right, right.
And it didn't turn out well.
Didn't turn out.
So that's what's
Got him by-
happening here.
Got them by the short. Well, of course, they're playing one man against another.
Technically,
but the-
the person that ought to be suing somebody is that if you think your pristine view has been destroyed, the adjacent landowner should be suing the guy that signed the contract
Yeah,
The contracts
and
are,
not Nextera.
And NextEra comes in here and said, boys, you know, just want to get along and we just want to do everything with you and help you. And by the way, there's some money involved.
Well, so what? That's good.
so
That's
instead of
good.
that 5 though, you see, you're waving that 5, but it turns into one of these.
Yeah, that's right. Or change.
Yeah, hey, wait, I got a quarter here somewhere.
Well, you know, you drove the right point because that goes on and instead of an entity being involved, it's neighbors should be communicating with neighbors, but this isn't just a little.
It sounds like they couldn't because of the secretive agreement.
Yeah, that was in the agreement and that should have been a red flag.
Yeah,
immediately,
Secretive agreement, so they couldn't talk to
their
their
neighbor.
neighbors.
they would have got to talk if they said, I ain't signing up until I talk to my neighbors.
Yeah, that's right.
What would have happened then? Would Nextera grabbed ass and run off? Or
No.
would they have done something?
You know,
No, it's
can't
just
move
like
the
when they
wind.
come up with something, you know, they had that little development agreement thing.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we'll do these few little things and you give us a 75% tax abatement. And
Yeah.
I'm doing the quick math here. God damn, we're trading this little piece of paper for $50 million. You know, it's not, if their numbers are right, if they're
Well,
not, you know,
and they're not, and you saw, I think I sent you that email, didn't I, that they're getting those numbers and gonna get back with us on that.
John Allen. Yeah, I didn't look at the email. I think I seen it. The reason I stopped in, so you guys have a meeting on the 27th.
Yep,
Do you think that the planning board or there should be some part of that late in the day agenda to vote on whether we move forward with some kind of zoning? How do you? You know, if we're gonna do this, we need to have some kind of decision.
are you bringing forth the request now
Yeah, and
for a decision?
no.
We have to have a request before we can,
Yeah, but should I do this for the upcoming 27th meeting?
That's what he's asking, if we wanna have them,
if we
wanna
want,
vote on the proposal, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah,
we
they told
voted
us their
on to
vote today.
recommend you guys to proceed forth with the zoning inquiry. Now, do you want to have something on your 27th agenda that you'll make some kind of decision? Or not? I mean, it's your call, but
What type of decision would we be making? We'd be making a decision that yes, we will pursue zoning, or yes, we're gonna pursue a certain type of zoning,
Well,
well,
or we're not going to pursue it because we think we can make a better deal with them on a straight across agreement.
those are options. I don't think I'd make a deal with them personally because
I think
I don't think we can enforce a deal and I don't know if they'll live up to the deal.
you get farther along with the deal than you would.
well, if they make a
So-
deal, it has to be in writing and signed by whoever their boss.
But how many $1 million are you gonna give up for the deal?
We're not gonna give up anything.
We're
not gonna give up
This
any.
is a
We're gonna
negotiating
ask-
deal. We're not giving any. of
We're
it.
gonna ask for 5 million impacts and we're gonna ask for full taxes and we're gonna ask for everything.
Well, I'm good with
Five,
that.
5 million a year
But
for
do you
3
think they're
years.
gonna do a development agreement, with those stipulations?
Well, if they don't, what do we got to lose?
Yeah, good point.
Cause it's 5 million. a
Because,
year.
because statutorily, we can go through the 0.5% impact up front. We can still get it. And we can still, we don't have to give them the tax abatement. If we can get money for adjacent landowners and a little more money for impact fees. But get it for adjacent landowners.
Yeah.
They get something out of it, even
Yeah.
if they don't have a turbine.
And they'd have.
Now, would this be part of the county's money
No,
or Nextera would?
next year it'd have to pay.
It comes out of their Pat's pocket, not ours.
Now, on this tax abatement, do you have to give a certain percentage?
No.
No,
No,
No, I mean, can you choose an other than 50% or something?
you can choose less. 0.35 is what Rosebud County did.
Doug Matthews come up
But
with.
isn't that a 65% abatement then?
They did- Yeah, 0.35, yeah. Yeah, well, the abatement's different. That was the impact fee, 1.35 or 0.35.
Yeah, and but
0.3.
we're gonna want 0.5.
Yes,
That's the only number that they're talking about giving us. They're not talking about giving us 0.25.
Well, the 0.25 is the tax rate they wanted to pay, so they wanted a 75% tax
They,
rate.
they had the choice of asking for a 0.25 abatement or a 0.5.
Yeah,
And Ross said they would not consider a 0.25. They would.
but under that development agreement framework,
Says
Yeah, it
different.
says right at the bottom, it says 25%.
Yeah.
It's right there in front of you.
yeah. It was the bottom line. That's what I meant when I said, damn, you guys are wanting $40 million for us to sign a little piece of paper. I mean, I don't think we ought to do that.
Well, you know.
Well, that isn't what he
according to
told
their-
us at that meeting.
According to their numbers,
Yeah,
that's
no, it was.
5.2 million a year for 3 years, according to.
That's the impact fees.
Yeah, right, just the impact, nothing else.
Sorry. I'm gonna get it 15 eventually.
Well, it's probably the one I'm looking at right here, the development of,
Yeah, look at the bottom line.
yeah, that's not what he told us.
Well, no, because he changed it. When he presented this development agreement, instead of a 50% tax abatement that is like in that fancy document they give
or
us.
the EIS,
That study that they gave.
not
us.
EIS.
Yeah, I know.
Economic analysis.
Yeah, there you go.
Economic analysis impact.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what I was saying is he was agreeing to do this, but they wanted a quarter of the tax more given them gotten rid of. So they went from a 50% assumed tax abatement to a 75% tax abatement reduction,
Yeah,
you know, and that's a lot of money for not doing a hell of a lot, for giving $10,000 a year to the yippee. You know,
So 25% of the
taxable value for years
taxable
1 to 5.
value. Assessing 25% of the taxable value.
Well, that,
Means
you
they
know,
just wanna
that's
pay
just what they want. Now, what I like about this is this top part, because
Yeah.
that's, we can
That's in
negotiate
that.
there up. And over here, you just take that off, they scratch that off. We're going for the kill on this thing.
Well, I could understand you guys saying this zoning, if somebody's grandfathered in, we're doing all this goddamn work for what?
Well, there is something to it. If you
Yeah.
do all this work in the future, if someone comes in, this stuff will already be in place. If another windmill company comes in or something else industrial comes in, it will be in place. And some of these things will be addressed before it makes it as far as it is right now. I mean, there
That's
isn't
true.
for nothing. It's just,
Oh, I should say, if we get in a big hurry,
Mhm.
you know, if everybody's grandfathered in, you know,
Get
people are
started.
thinking that this, like
You can hear.
Todd Tibbet says, we can do all these permitting fees, you know. And I don't know if we can get away with all this stuff. tacking on permits and fees and all this stuff. You think we're gonna be able to make that stick as just being a pain in the ass?
Do we have the authority to do something like that?
Well, I don't know if we don't have a zoning document. I don't think we have the authority to do anything.
See, last night what we heard, and I think, what's his name brought up a good point, Rick Holden, about, on the land planning board when we have our planning, county planning. That they're missing some points in that, and I think we need to go back through that agreement.
Our growth plan.
Growth plan.
The growth
Yep,
plan.
and we voted to do that. And we voted, no, that's another thing we have to ask you.
That was
If we
4
wanna
years
spend
ago that we did
$5,000 to update our growth plan, do you have to okay that?
that. No,
No,
it's in your budget.
Okay. So I was on the phone with Jerry Grabentz of Great West, and I was talking to him about updating this. And,
to include this.
To
Growth
include
plan update.
alternative energy.
industrial energy development, or just industrial development.
Yeah.
Not, I don't think doing the green energy thing is,
Feasible,
well,
correct?
we're doing a lot of work and we're opening ourselves up to more legal complications. If we, like Lance Kelfeld was saying, we're
Yeah.
being real political about this.
Mhm.
We are.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's right.
That document Weibo did, that's directly wind farm.
Well, there's other energy things in there. I mean,
Very lightly touched upon.
yeah, that's true.
Well, I read that agreement cover to cover, and there were some things in there that were dynamite I really liked, but there was some issues in there that are problematic.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the reason I'm bugging you is, I can't tell you what to do, but should we be on the agenda to try to establish a direction?
Well, I think it's not gonna change. I think we should get on the agenda, huh? It's not gonna change.
No. I do question the fact that we have nobody speaking up in the positive, and I know that there's people that,
Lisa was
Lisa
brave
did.
that came in here.
Yeah.
Lisa, I thought did a good job of giving balance.
Yeah,
I wonder if we should allow a way for people to offer
you ready?
positive.
shakes.
Okay. She's gonna help me do the minutes from the 1 o'clock meeting over there.
He caught me in a weak moment. What can I say?
Yeah.
You are so sweet.
Yeah, don't let it get out. Jody, Department of Revenue, who is the assessor from Garfield County. I called asking a question for Sean and Todd about, whether roads would be assessed as an improvement. And she said absolutely not, and that they are, like when pipelines come in and they fix bridges and culverts and such. It's,
Dewalt School Road,
yeah, all the
Highway
things.
330.
So,
340.
I asked her after I answered their question, if she had any knowledge to pass on to a county who is undertaking such advisements. And she said, absolutely, grab a pen. So I started writing things down, and she said to have anyone call her, and she's in Garfield County. Because I called
What's your
Jen.
last name?
I don't know. I called Jen Crawford to begin with because that's my contact. But Jen said, I can help you with tax base. You have to go with Jody, Department of Revenue. She's like Taryn is for us.
She'd be
Jody
our-
takes care of the middle section of the state. She has like 7 or 8 counties. And she said that she suggests that you call and check with all and any abatements through several different Department of Revenue representatives because of what happened to Garfield County. Last year, they were overassessed $1 million because part of Rosebud County's valuations got pushed onto Garfield County.
Couldn't read their damn right. They put the towers in the wrong county and said that
Huh?
range such and such township, whatever, is this county. And it wasn't. It
It
was
wasn't.
Garfield
It
County
was-
and they put it in
No,
No,
it was Rosebud
Put
County
in
that put it.
they
Garfield
put it
County
in
and
Garfield.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. So I talked to
Yeah.
John Allen, the lead
Okay.
industrial appraiser
Yeah.
in
Good.
Helena. But, he briefly explained that to me. So
She
you
said-
keep going. No,
She
I don't-
said it was a nightmare because they had allowed the 10-step better improvement thing. What am I thinking? That it's that,
Like a special improvement district?
yeah, they had allowed them to do that, like we did Heidels on the potato.
Oh, the abatement.
Yeah, the abatement.
Okay.
And so they had allowed the 10% every year to go. And they were $1 million off because tax base had already been shipped out the door in May. And partial of it collected. And once you take the first tax payment, you can't change
No stay back.
nada.
No.
Yeah, no backsies. Yep. So they reached out to the company and they said, yeah, we'll make it good. We'll make it good. We're gonna be right there with you in the trenches. No, Garfield County footed the bill for 900 and some thousand, and Clearwater Next Era covered 200 and some thousand.
They paid 30%, cause he said it right.
That's what he
He
said.
told us.
That's what
That's
he's
about what it is.
Yeah.
30%.
Yeah, and so she suggests everyone do their homework on abatements.
But you know what, in actuality, the way this came down, Nextera should have the right people in the right place instead of, well, I'll get you an answer. Now you're $900,000 over. Oh, we're gonna come in for 30%. No, you screwed the thing up. You put it in the wrong section, township range. They have
I would like to
liability.
know who put it in the wrong.
So both sides. Department of Revenue did not catch it,
Montana slipped up on that one.
and Next Era trusted the judgment of the people that they were referring things to.
But they had evidently hired an outside company to.
No, it's all, they only go inside. That's what Jody said the next thing on my list is. They may call themselves Clearwater and they may call themselves Next Era, but it is all inside jobs and they only hire their own people.
This Babbitt or whatever.
I don't know names.
Hmm.
You should reach out to Jody if you have concerns or problems.
What was the name of that,
Young kid,
the company he was working for, that he went to get a job and they wouldn't hire him? The Next Era, huh?
Oh, yes, the Vince guy.
Yeah,
Just a guy.
Yeah, he's got it. I'm gonna translate it in 2 minutes.
No, that's what, you don't have to worry about that.
Okay, okay.
starts with a B.
Prolus or something like that.
B, starts with a B.
No, Prolus, I think.
Oh, the company he was talking about though.
Yeah, the
That wouldn't
company,
hire him.
the
hire.
construction company.
I thought it started with a D, but that was Dolan or something like that. I don't know, I didn't write it
Anyway,
down.
that was someone who's been in the trenches and had to help get their county out of yuck. And I'll tell you right now that their treasurer has put in some serious, Jen has done a lot of things between the two different places to try to make it sure that their county comes whole.
Hmm.
It
No
is
wonder she
flat.
wanted to go on
It
vacation,
is flat yucky up there. And there were about 4 months of,
tearing their hair.
it was pretty darn quiet in that building.
Mm.
So to head that off, Cheryl, how do we oversee that everything is done correctly?
Don't do abatements.
No abatement.
That's the easiest way. It's just. don't
Yeah,
do
but
an
still, we
abatement.
could get screwed up like this anyway,
Yes.
because let's
they
say
don't
the
ring
10
in-
towers that are in Macomb,
Get stuck in Prairie.
yeah, somebody fills out the township and range wrong right up there.
Well,
I've got
and
4
part of
water
the-
wells that are in Ted Irons that they say they're in May.
Yep.
Ah,
Well, and part of the problem with some of this is that the other thing that I think really got everybody was that when they shut half of Department of Revenues down across the state, that means you had all of those people retired, all the Bonnies left.
yeah.
And so then you get this sweet little pumpkin who is sharp as a tack, but only knows what she knows.
Yeah. Doesn't have the history.
She literally just took her other test last week. She's been there for 2.5 years because you can't cram all this crap down their throats.
they have to
So-
absorb it.
So part of this
But
is.
Cheryl, how do we get in the loop
I think we just do all the homework one. And honestly, if they would have had you up there, who knows if you couldn't have caught some of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, we just need more eyes on the project.
Well, that's something, you know, the people, you know what the real estate is that they own.
Yeah,
I
like,
don't understand how this works in the, so I write my county tax check to you.
Yep.
Or here.
Yep.
So, should I be going through my little tax sheet that you give me?
yes,
Is that where we catch this right?
it is absolutely your job.
Either that or on
To
your
catch what I send you.
Your
for
taxable
one thing.
value.
Yep, and then on the other thing is in March, when you get that, when they're going through the values and all of that, you need to be going through all of that.
Right, but, so is Nextera the entity that gets the tax sheet that has all these damn wind towers on? But they don't come in here and pay you that check.
Yep.
Well, they do.
Every utility does. Yep.
MDU,
We get,
Trico,
we
So,
get 2.4
when this
million
happens-
dollars from utilities.
Are you gonna be able to wade through this stuff?
So not only me, but the Terrans and her boss, who's Lisa Rieger,
Oh, yeah.
and all of them. In fact, Lisa was on the catch. She was
caught
in,
part of the
she was in
Garfield
on with
mistake.
Jody. They were like, this isn't right. That isn't ours. This isn't ours. We're not going there.
But it was kind of late by then, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes,
We need to catch this damn thing before we're down.
yes.
So
But on the other hand of that, as a taxpayer, not as a deputy treasurer, which I am gonna be again pretty damn quick, pretty excited. But, I don't want abatements. I don't get abated.
Mhm.
And if I build a new garage, I'm not coming to these three people saying, hey, I can't afford the doors. Can you abate that for me so I can afford my new fancy garage?
Well put.
If they're bringing something in, and here's the other
Well,
part of
have you
this.
tried?
Yep. Went to that one twice. They have the resources for a reason. They're
Yeah.
a good business, and I get all of that, but we need to be a good business too.
Yeah. Well,
And
what I'm
so-
trying to say is, how do we get in the loop
how do
before?
we double check the
So I
location?
think you just come in and as it's all public knowledge, it's all public knowledge. You can ask for those. I got another rancher up on the other side that's asking for them already, and I don't have anything to give him yet. So I think there's plenty of eyes on it, and Prairie County is very unique in that we have people that care.
Is Nextera the ones that has to tell the county where the towers are going?
Oh, Department
Surveys go through the Department of Revenue.
of Revenue.
They tell the county.
Do you think the Department of Revenue is more aware that something got messed up?
No,
No.
I think they're so overwhelmed, Lon, and I think these
they've got
sweet
their head
people are
there.
doing 5 different jobs that they don't have time to do.
They did the cycle, they took the cycle from 4 years or 6 years, excuse me, 6 years to 2 years. And they
Yeah.
cut their FTEs in half.
Wow.
That's crazy, wasn't it?
So somebody's getting hell worked up. Well, do you wanna do this?
Yeah, let's get you going on the right track. Other questions that you guys have, she said, reach out to Rosebud's Department of Revenue, and I've heard that 7 different times now. How, because I think she's an older lady like Bonnie was. I think that's Deb. Do you know Department of Revenue in Rosebud? I don't either. So, but I think she's one of the few that got to stay. And how she didn't catch it, I don't know.
Hmm,
Well, it was probably just different.
Yeah. And the other part of this is when you have that many people going through the state to do all this, you sort of think they're gonna get it right.
Well, if you come up with something that you need help with, this is the one that we don't wanna,
Don't wanna
Yes.
mess up. Yep.
and if you need extra help.
Yeah.
Planning board ain't out of money yet.
Well, that's only because you haven't let Sherry and I spend it all. Just give us a chance.
We're
just
probably
don't
gonna
forget, you got some Marcus search money you gotta pay.
Yep.
If you guys, I'll be in contact with you about what you want us to do on the 27th, if anything, okay?
Why don't you have Harry put you on the
You
agenda?
guys didn't decide what to. put
Cause
on
we
the
can
agenda,
always take
Kristen.
you off.
Well, yeah, we gotta know what the hell we're doing.
You guys have to decide what you want on the agenda. It's not the land planning board, it's the commissioners. He just wants to know if he should be here for it or not.
And if we're gonna move forward, we gotta make decisions to move forward. We can't like burn up time. You know? And so, and if you guys think this, following this special development agreement, I don't know why Edens are so against this. But, I'm up for anything. I wanna see,
More information is always good.
yeah, but we're working on it. We're gonna get this Randy Piocci from Public Service Commission sometime, maybe about the 8th or the 10th or 12th of December to come talk to us. And then I'm gonna do some more homework on
And about 50% of the people in the in Montana will tell you is batshit crazy too.
okay,
So, Todd, we were just wondering, what do you guys want something on the agenda for next?
Wednesday afternoon at 4.
Recommendations from the land board, or,
Well, we kinda did that.
I make
They
a-
gave you recommendations. You guys have to decide what you're gonna do with them.
we just need to put that on and we'll give direction to
I
land.
need more specific. What do you want on there? You can't be just direction and land board. You guys have to make a decision whether you're gonna inquire into zoning or not. Because that's what
I
they
think we can
recommended.
inquire into zoning, but doesn't mean that we have.
Doesn't know
Means
decision.
that we can discuss it with, and we're gonna discuss it with Mako.
Yeah,
See if we got anything, see what they think.
well, it's pretty damn hard. It opens you up to some problems if you tell Mako you think they're wrong, they're attorneys, so. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Lon.
Lon.
There's a copy there you can take.
So please.